Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a fascinating piece of history that not many people talk about. And trust me, it might just change the way you see both South Korea and the Philippines. Now we all know that South Korea is a powerhouse today, from K-pop and Samsung to their high-speed trains and tech innovation. But did you know that just a few decades ago, South Koreans were coming to the Philippines, not as tourists, but to work? And some of them even worked as security guards? Yep. Shocking, right? This isn't just trivia. It's a powerful reminder of how the tables of history can turn. So let's explore how South Korea's past is linked to the Philippines, and why this story still matters today. Get ready for some history, culture, and a fresh perspective. Let's go. Right after World War II, and especially after the Korean War in the 1950s, South Korea was struggling. The country was one of the poorest in Asia, devastated by war, and relying heavily on foreign aid. And guess who was ahead of them economically at the time? The Philippines. Believe it or not, during the 1960s and 70s, the Philippines had one of the strongest economies in Asia. Manila was often compared to European cities, and foreign nationals, including some South Koreans, came to the Philippines to find work and a better life. Trivia time! According to historical reports, there were South Koreans who came here and worked humble jobs, some even as construction workers, laborers, and yes, security guards. This might shock today's generation, but it's all part of how history shifts over time. It wasn't unusual to see Korean students studying in the Philippines, and many looked up to Filipinos for their English fluency, democratic values, and modern lifestyle. At that time, South Korea was still finding its footing. And here's a real twist. The Philippines actually sent financial aid and even troops to help South Korea during the Korean War. That's how far ahead we were back then. During the 1950s to early 70s, the Philippines was called the Pearl of the Orient. Our universities were among the best in Asia. South Korean elites and students even came to study English and governance here. Mind-blowing trivia. The Philippines was the first country in Asia to have a university, University of Santo Tomas, founded in 1611. We had commercial airlines, skyscrapers, and an active middle class while many neighboring countries were still rebuilding. Filipino engineers, doctors, and teachers were in high demand across Asia and the Middle East. Meanwhile, South Korea was sending workers abroad, including to the Philippines, to support their families back home. Just imagine, the roles back then were reversed. The Philippines was the dream, we were the model, and that makes today's economic comparison even more humbling and worth reflecting on. This period in history shows us that leadership, policy, and vision can make or break a country's future, and how quickly tides can change if we're not careful. Let's fast forward. South Korea took off like a rocket ship. Thanks to strategic economic planning, discipline, education reforms, and relentless innovation, South Korea transformed from an aid-dependent nation into a global force. Trivia check. In just 50 years, South Korea went from receiving aid to becoming one of the biggest donors in Asia through KOICA. That's like watching a kid you used to help become a billionaire CEO. By the 1990s, the roles had reversed. Now it was South Koreans building high-speed railways, exporting K-dramas, and helping other countries through aid and investments. Meanwhile, the Philippines faced economic stagnation, political unrest, and brain drain. It's a powerful lesson. One country rose by investing in its people, discipline, and long-term vision. South Korea made sacrifices, long hours, strict schooling, and even cultural adjustments to reach where they are now. Back then, Koreans came to the Philippines to work. Now they come as tourists, business investors, and students. But the story doesn't end there, because cultural exchange goes both ways. Did you know? Tagalog has Korean loanwords now thanks to K-pop and Korean dramas. And thousands of Filipinos are working, studying, or living in South Korea today, many of them achieving great success. But beyond jobs and tourism, there's a growing appreciation between the two cultures. Koreans love our beaches, hospitality, and warmth. Filipinos love their music, skincare, and tech. It's like the two nations have become long-distance besties, with a shared past most don't even know about. This deep connection isn't just surface level, it's built on decades of helping each other in ways both big and small. It's a reminder that no nation stands alone in its journey. Here's something many young Koreans and Filipinos may not even be aware of. During the Korean War, the Philippines sent over 7,000 troops under the United Nations to help defend South Korea. We were the first Asian country to send combat troops. Surprising fact, the Philippine Expeditionary Forces to Korea, PFTOK, helped in major battles and many Filipino soldiers died protecting Korean territory. There are monuments in South Korea today honoring Filipino soldiers, but how many of us were taught this in school? It's a story often forgotten, yet it's a deep part of the bond between our nations. It's time we revisit and retell these powerful moments of solidarity. And when South Korea sent aid here in the 2020 pandemic and during typhoons, it wasn't random generosity, it was history, repaying kindness with kindness. Today, many Filipinos are now working in South Korea, in manufacturing, shipbuilding, caregiving, and even teaching. It's an exact reversal of what used to happen decades ago. Trivia flash: over 60,000 Filipinos now work and live in South Korea, and many of them send money back home to support their families. Some even end up becoming citizens, marrying Koreans, and building businesses. While life in Korea can be challenging, it also offers opportunity, structure, and dignity, much like how we once offered the same to Koreans decades ago. And that's what makes this story so full circle. The journey of both nations has flipped, but the spirit of perseverance remains the same. We're still chasing dreams, only now the setting has changed. South Korea's story isn't just impressive, it's instructional. It shows that no matter how poor or broken a country may be, it can rise again with the right mindset, leadership, and investment in education and discipline. The Philippines already proved this once. We were a leader in Asia, and with our resources, people, and talent, we can rise again. We just need to learn from our history and stop forgetting where we once stood. Instead of comparing ourselves to others, let's look at what we used to be and ask ourselves, what's stopping us from becoming great again? What South Korea teaches us is that transformation is not a miracle. It's a series of deliberate choices made over time. The shift from hardship to prosperity came through national unity, an unshakable belief in education, and a culture that embraced discipline and accountability. These are not foreign ideals. Filipinos are naturally resilient, talented, and deeply community-oriented. Traits that, when harnessed with clear purpose and collective will, can drive true national renewal. The journey may be difficult, but it is not impossible. If we want to reclaim our place as a rising nation, we must start by believing it's possible, and then working together to make it happen. History has a funny way of humbling us. The ones we help today may outgrow us tomorrow, the ones we look up to now may have once stood where we stand. So whether you're Korean, Filipino, or from anywhere else in the world, this story should remind you that nations can rise and fall, but also rise again. It all depends on what we do today. Let's not just admire success stories, let's study them, let's build our own, and let's always honor the ties and friendships that helped us along the way. If you found this video enlightening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Share this with someone who loves history, the Philippines, or South Korea. Thanks for watching, and remember, greatness is never out of reach.